All right. Sorry, I had to share the link so that peeps could find it. So I want to give an update to the other Twitter spaces that I've done involving this story, this situation. I want to give an update because there has been what we here at the Unifam call a boom fit, a super boom, a super McBoom. Now, what that is when a boomer booms and shakes and gets angry and steam comes out of his ears and blows the silver flaps off of his head. We all know that's what happened to his silver flaps. They were blown off by a nuclear boom. And because he's a boomer and he's booming out, he starts to rapid fire either while live talking, or he rapid fires tweeting or some other content. And it just comes out like a machine gun, like a lobster flavored machine gun, okay? And he ends up in his anger, in his screaming, his tweeting, his flipping out, saying things and admitting to things without fully processing the lies that he is told about those topics. Are you following me? And this is how we've busted him and his friends on a lot of things. And now we've busted him on a lot more. Because what he's done is admitted to scripting for a person the things that they did against me when this person first appeared. So what happened when they first appeared? And what would he have scripted? Now, his defense is, I didn't script everything. I scripted a couple things. Well, you see, this is the problem. This is why when you're angry and you're booming and you're drunken on rum and lobster juice, you shouldn't tweet or boom, because you end up admitting the truth. You end up admitting things you shouldn't have admitted. So he says that he scripted a couple things, but we already know that he's already been busted by, here, eat these eggs, Harles, please. Come on, eat it. You have it, eat it. My dog, he's fluffy. So we already know that his partner in crime admitted what he helped with. So what did they say? They said that basically they met him and he sat them down and told them exactly what to do. So what happened? What was the first thing that happened? The first thing that happened was faked screenshots of a conversation that they tried to claim I participated in between me and her. And those screenshots basically weren't anything like super bad or anything, but it implied that I was trying to talk sexually with her. Now, the issue was, I've already explained why it didn't work, so I'm not going to, but we all know it didn't work, and she immediately had to come out and admit, due to a massive backlash against her, that she faked those DMs. But we don't know if she did or if he did. But that was the first thing that she did to me, that she tried to do to me. Now, after she did that, she went and did a bunch of streams where she wrote I think she wrote Unirock on a pair of underwear or something, and then filmed herself reaching in them. I mean, I just recall what a few people told me happened. The point, though, is it was absolutely sexual, and it was absolutely done to harass me by their own admission. Okay? Now, I've explained already in previous streams, if you want to listen to them, I mean, previous Twitter spaces, previous of these, I've explained already basically a lot of the backstory, a lot of the background there. So I'm not going to get too incredibly deep in all of that in this, I don't want to bore everybody, but what I want to do is talk about what's different, what's changed now that he's come out and admitted that, well, first I want to tell you why he admitted it. Then I'm going to tell you, how he lies and what he's trying to do to lie to protect himself. And then I'm going to tell you what has changed. So let's start there at the beginning. He claims again that instead of him coming out and telling, well, first off, he said that he didn't do it, that he had nothing to do with her, and he doesn't understand why people connect him and her together. He even said this on the Wes interview at first, and then later ended up admitting he was lying to Wes and got busted kind of changing his story, which is what led to him getting a seat taken by Hanson and Wes, in my opinion. Though, instead of him coming out and being honest and saying, here is what we did, like most creators would do a video. They would do a video and they would just sit down, because remember, he's saying that he didn't do anything wrong. If you didn't do anything wrong, number one, you wouldn't have been lying about it this whole time, changing your story a million times from I didn't do it to I helped her, I talked to her, I was there, to I scripted a few things, okay? The thing is, he can't come out and be honest, because even if he tries to lie, the base level of this shows that he is a troll who tries to call sexual harassment comedy or something that it isn't, and then tries to wield it in not as if it's some funny thing, like he's trying to say it was comedy or something. No, they were trying to troll everyone into thinking that I'd done something that I didn't do. And they were trying to basically do the DMs. They wanted people to believe them so that after they believe the DMs, they can then look at the content that she's doing, going crazy over Uni, and be like, Uni is such an asshole. He has a girlfriend and a family, and he's causing this poor girl to lose her mind because he's ignoring her and she's all mad at him or something, right? It was this big plot they had. So you got to remember, this was done literally to try to convince my girlfriend. And they even took measures to try and do that in their little plan to convince my girlfriend that I cheated online and that I shouldn't be trusted, to hopefully break us up and all that. But he thinks that by saying that, no, I'm not going there. He hasn't thought about this. The reason that he is admitted to scripting it, and then tried to play just a couple things, right? So that he can try to say, well, what are the worst things that happened? What are people going to be most mad at? What's going to make me look the worst? Okay, those things, I didn't script those. I just script a couple of the other things. That's what he's going to try to do. He wants to feel out the situation, see what's going to look really bad on him, see what he can try to get out of, and he's going to try to say that the things that are the least offensive and the least problematic for him, he can then lie about. And you can tell he's doing that because he's not being honest. He's still lying. Luckily, though, because he has stabbed his partner in crime in the back several times, we do know the truth. We do know what happened, and I'll get to it in just a second. So he's trying to lie, and then he's saying he only scripted some comedy stuff. It was satire. It was satire. It's funny because him and EKC think that people fabricating CP and then using it to troll and threaten people while lawsuits are going on is somehow satire. And now they think that trying to break up families is satire. And they think that trying to sexually harass somebody is satire. What's funny is, do you remember in the Wes Most interview, he tried to say that there's a different standard between men and women? I know that. Like he wasn't a person who preys on that standard. He did prey on that standard. His entire plot preyed on that standard. If I would have been a woman, then he wouldn't have done it like this. But because I'm a man, he's going to try to employ a woman to come in and do this, because then people will be mad at me and not her. He was trying to make it to where she's not going to have anything wrong here, but he is. And Sexual harassment, we recall, and I think I said this in a previous stream, so I'm going to go quick on this one. He's been accused of so many times that he's basically a walking accusation. You know that, like, walking contradiction. No, you're a walking accusation. You know that song? It's a Green Day song, I think. But anyway, he's a walking accusation. And the entire thing for the last X amount of years is him convincing people that he didn't do this weird sexual thing against Katie Joy and brand her the liar she is. And he started a massive campaign, the campaign that involved all of the doxing, the lying, the pulling, the rape reports was all done by him. Just like if you imagine that he wasn't a factor, this never would have happened. I know I said that before, right? And I say that because he literally hired her. He offered her something she wanted in return for her doing this to me. And let's just pretend he didn't exist. And somehow she came into our community, which she wouldn't have if it wasn't for him. And somehow she targeted me. She probably would have just done some silly videos that had nothing like what she did. The idea of the sexual harassment against me was his. The idea of faking DMs was his. And literally so many people have come out and said that I'm crazy for saying that he faked the DMs of 2019, where LB and her family had a tragedy, and he used that tragedy to fake DMs. I said Steve was involved in faking the DMs along with the others that helped him. And now look, he's done it again. By the way, this is like the 50th time that he's been involved in things that involve fake things like this, just so you know. So the point is, I always say it, I always tell you all that in this world, we don't get to experience 99.9% of all things that we know are true. We don't get to test it. We know that an AK-47 shoots bullets and is very dangerous. It's a fact. I've shot one. How many of you have actually shot one and seen it for yourself? But you know it's true, and you should. That's just literally being smart. And when you look at social situations and you have the most extreme things constantly happening, but they only point toward one person's enemies, while that person takes those extreme things and retweets them, fully supports them against everything they try to portray socially, that's called evidence. That is evidence. Him being involved in fake screenshots where he must be involved in both, or in one, this situation, and he obviously was involved in the 2019 situation, is evidence towards each other. Why is it that every time he tries, when he gets real mad, it's always these same tactics? We've been watching him doing it for many, many years, of course. It is factual. This is something that the community that he was a part of wasn't smart enough to understand. And I'm talking about the community from before he came into the KJP community. The KJP community, the good ones, are much smarter than the debunking community over there with Red in them. Because they don't understand anything that's not filmed. If it's not completely filmed, if you can't go completely reproduce it right now, they don't believe it's true. And they don't believe that you can literally say that Steve is responsible for the DMs and the sexual harassment from her before he admitted to scripting it, which, let me just read a few of these just so that in the future when he tries to delete these tweets and then claim that he never deletes tweets, he's deleted lots of tweets, by the way. I don't want him to be able to, let's just go ahead. So, yes, now here, when anything in caps, I'm going to yell. Yes, I wrote some satire skits. OMFG. This is their serious allegations from racist troll AZ. You can't make this shit up. And I'm going to come back to the racist thing in a second and defend AZ on it. Then he says, All I care about are facts and truth. Seriously, I stopped caring about anything else. Who to trust or give a shit about other than actual victims. If somebody wants the truth, I give it freely and to all honest interlocutors. Oh, that didn't. Same answer. I wrote some skits. SATIRE. I can't get over them using a Z for content. This is mind-blowing. And he's done many more. He literally went on a boom fit about how I just scripted some things. And I want to say something to Steve. Thank you, Steve, for admitting you scripted it. Because we needed to prove that you had a hand in it, and now you've straight admitted it. Not once, or twice, or 3 times, or 4 times. But why did he admit it on Twitter? You know, it's weird that he just came out and admitted it now, considering he lied to Wes Mose, and considering before this he claimed he had nothing to do with anything that she was doing. So why did all of a sudden he switch his tune to admit the truth? Well, he had been in a Discord server, and he had admitted things there to one of his buddies. And I'll be damned if somebody didn't grab it, and he knew that he was busted. And so he went out and started to try to get ahead of it, the narrative. And, you know, he always says he's not a liar. You can't catch him in a lie, even though Menace has caught him in 463 lies on Menace's Twitter that you can see with your own eyes. Though, this is a lie that he's caught in. When he, before admitting that he scripted this stuff, said that he had nothing to do with it, he was lying. And he's been caught in a lie. Now, this is another time, out of the 468th time, we're going to be able to put on Menace's Twitter that Steve was busted lying. Do you think he's still going to tell people he's never lied? And that you can't prove that he's lied? Because he's busted. But I want to thank him, because I am going to file a restraining order against Steve McRae. A lot of people are saying, well, you might not get it if he didn't threaten you. I disagree. I think I'm going to get my restraining order. I think I can show where he has lied and defamed me. I can show I have a recording where he doxed me, which I'm going to use. And I have him admitting to scripting this stuff. I have the stuff that he scripted, and I have the admission from his partner that he scripted it, and that he helped with exactly the earliest stuff, which is the DMs and the first wave of stuff that was put out. By the way, do any of you believe that he wasn't involved with the rest of it? Because he not only kept talking to her the whole time, but did you know that he had told the public that he completely disconnected from her, went into a Discord server, yes, we have this, and laughed about how he lied to the public, and talked about how he would never bail on her, he would never disassociate with her, he just had to lie publicly to cover his ass to CYA. Now, other people want me to full-on sue him, and I'm thinking about suing him for defamation. The one thing I am going to do, though, is have a conversation with the local precinct there and find out what my options are, because this man is violating my rights every second he gets. Also, I might as well let them know about a fraudulent fundraiser when I call in. You guys agree with me? Let me know in Discord when I get back in. Because if you donated to his fundraiser, you need to call the local precinct down there and file a report, just like people did for the Molly Go Lightly fundraiser. You do. Now, you don't have to be a person who donated to file a report. And I don't know if he's doxed some of you. I don't know if he's threatened some of you and harassed some of you. But if I was any of you that had been targeted, I would also call down and file the report. Because if you look at his fundraiser, he's literally ripping off anyone who donated, as what it says on the front page of it, and as of what it says And of course, his defense, I'll go ahead and mention it, debunk it really quick, but I want to get back to the main topic. His defense is that because GoFundMe has left it up, it's not a fraud raiser, and that if it was, GoFundMe would delete it, but that's a lie. People have gone to prison and their GoFundMes stayed up until it was deleted. Okay? While they were being investigated, it stayed up. You don't believe me? Check into it and see for yourself. It doesn't mean that you aren't going to get in trouble just because GoFundMe, a literal website, all the people at GoFundMe, all they do there is run that website so that they can track the donos and make sure that a third-party company pays the payee. They don't even make sure that the company pays the payee, the third party does, and their trust and safety department is outsourced to a third party. Literally, GoFundMe is just that little website. And so it's pretty rare for them to delete GoFundMes that aren't in a complete violation of terms of service. You'll say, well, ripping them off is a violation of terms of service. Well, yeah, but the point is, they can't just go in and delete the damn thing if then they go in and investigate it and it turns out to be right. Are you feeling me? So typically they don't get deleted until after a decision has been made, right? The ones that get deleted are ones that grossly violate TOS on the spot. And because he is lying to GoFundMe, they're not deleting it right now. And we know he is because they knocked his payment processor off of there. So he went and enabled a new payment processor and put it back up. The payment processor literally said, I'm not working with this guy anymore for some reason. Now, back to the original subject. He sexually harassed me. So he wrote content where a girl was going to forcibly send nudes at me and forcibly make content that was sexual directed at me, and then go to Twitch and go to YouTube and throw sexual content at me constantly while obsessing over me. There was nothing satirical about it or funny about it, right? Satire is where you can like tell that it's kind of funny or that it's not true or something. It's satirical, it's extreme, it's over the top. This is not over the top. Seeing this woman moan and touch herself and scream Unirock, Unirock, and do all the stuff she did isn't satirical unless they actually do something. They set aside a part of the comedy to make sure that it's satirical, which never happened. In fact, everybody who saw it thought she was dead serious. So the point is, he scripted sexual harassment that was thrown at me, and he scripted DMs to try and get me. Like, what's up with the fake DMs that he scripted? What's up with that? How is that satirical? What were they? How is that a joke? And let me guess, when he gets busted for the 2019 screenshots, he's going to say it was a joke and it was satire. You know, if you look at what he retweeted, he wasn't treating it as satire himself when he retweeted her stuff and, you know, made all these comments. And if you recall, and this is the creepiest part of this story, and I'm telling you, in my opinion, this is the creepiest part. So after she got done doing those things, he went and retweeted it and shared it so his audience could go in and, like, you know, he delivered his part. I'll send some people over to simp for you if you do this for me to Unirock, right? Which is an employment opportunity. It's literally like saying that he's going to give her a following, at least a small one, of dedicated simps if she does what he says, right? And then by retweeting it, he said, these girls want to fuck me, but they don't want to fuck Unirock. So that makes Unirock, what did he say it made me? Do you remember? Like unattractive or something. And it was bad because he wasn't being satirical. He was being jealous. He was like jealous that I'm younger than him or something, or that I have a girlfriend that I'm happy with, who he himself was like enamored with when he was in my Discord. He absolutely loved her. And now he'll straight attack her and put her down. Because again, he's not honest with you. He doesn't tell you the truth. It's like with Katie. He loved Katie. she was so gorgeous, so beautiful, so hot, so sexy, that he pined after her and propositioned her and said sexual things to her constantly. But then as things went, now all of a sudden he switched it up and she's ugly and she's nasty, and he employs a bunch of these women to back him up on that. Which, again, I don't know why Steve doesn't look in the mirror before he insults someone else's appearance. But then again, if you, it's not that you can't insult someone's appearance if you look like a lobster. But the point is, everyone's going to think you're jealous if that's true, you know? And for people out there even that like might be cute that insult someone's appearance, we know that's not Steve. He definitely is looking in the mirror. He definitely has, right? Like I remember when he first flipped out, I said that he looked like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man with a red face, okay? I felt bad about saying that because I wasn't trying to put him down. I was trying to accurately describe what he looked like. And then I realized he's going to take it as if I'm, you know, like insulting his weight or something, which I'm not. I got a big belly myself. I like my belly though, because, you know, it's cute, I think. Hell, I think the belly's the main reason why Rachel's attracted to me, you know? Anyway, I made her laugh. Yay. She's usually mad at me and slapping me around. I made her laugh. Awesome. But the point is, this man is a person that tries to ruin other people's businesses and lives if he's jealous of them. And that is represented by what he did. Okay? It's represented by what he did. I want Chris Hanson to sit him down with or without him there, because not have anything to do with me. I don't care if they don't bring up a word about me, but because they, the people out there that were victimized by Steve for years, I made them a promise a long time ago, and I said that there would be a resolution that would fix this if they gave it time. And I really want my prediction to be true, because I feel it will, no matter what Chris Hanson does. I just think Chris Hanson can end it now. He can solidify it now. Steve is scared of Chris Hanson. But when Chris Hanson was first, when Wes and Chris were first looking into his partner in crime, Steve thought that he'd accurately fooled everybody. So he was very excited to talk to Chris Hanson about her. He had told Wes Mose he wanted to talk to Chris Hanson. Please let me talk to Chris. Now Wes said, no, you got to talk to me, but you know, that's because Chris is a busy guy. Don't worry, I'll give him our conversation. He'll watch it when he has time. And Steve did that. But he flipped his script the minute they wanted to sit him down. And I don't care if I'm repeating myself. I think it needs to be in this scope about what I just talked about. I'll make it fast. If Steve McRae, if you go back and look at every recording, look at what happened. Don't listen to anyone talk. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to anyone tell you what happened. Go back and look at the recordings when things happened, because they're all there. People have made videos. They've recorded the videos so that you can just ignore them and watch the videos. Menace has an excellent library of this on Twitter and his channel. And you will see the source video on Menace's stuff. Look at what happened and hear him every time he has put me down, Nate down, and the AZ and all these other people. And no, I didn't forget about that racist thing. We're getting to it in just a second. When he put Waxy down, every person he puts down, when people come out and say, you're lying, here's a clip that proves you're lying, he says the same thing every single time. And we can prove it. He knows we can prove it. So he better not deny it. It's the secret evidence fallacy. Every time he says he has hard evidence of what he's talking about, but he can't show it publicly. And if you contact him and sit down and you're an honest person, he'll show you the proof. Now, everyone has had their friends or someone they know online try to go contact him, sit down with them and see the evidence. And we know that in every situation, he's never shown a shred of evidence, even when people sit down with him. But he always promises it. So what I want to say is, before I go on to the AZ thing, is that if Steve McRae is not lying about his secret evidence, he will go to Chris Hanson. He's begged for a bigger creator, one that's just concerned with the facts, that will play the clips, that will look at the clips, that will just look at the facts that are there. They won't listen to anyone's claims. They'll look at the facts, and then they'll present those facts to people. They will report the facts. He's got Chris Hanson. He has Chris Hanson. Chris Hanson is willing to sit him down where he can finally, for the first time in all these years, present every piece of evidence against Nate the lawyer, myself, Katie, Menace, AZ, or anyone else he claims he has secret evidence on. Because again, he'll tell you what we are. But if anyone asks him for evidence, and I challenge every fucking cult member, every lobster cult member, to ask him for evidence on anything he says, because he will not give it to you. And if he is not lying and he's telling the truth, he can go to Chris Hanson and have it presented to a massive audience that has nothing to do with any of us. We can't sway Hanson. We can't. This is why he has to go if he's not lying, because everyone knows that Hanson will not care about Unirock, because that's what he tells everybody. Nope, they just got paid by Katie or Unirock or something, and that's why they're criticizing me. It's not because they have hard evidence. Don't go watch their channel, though. Just trust me and listen to me. They don't have evidence. Don't watch their channel. He really does say this. I've got tweets and proof and clips of him saying this. If he does go, he can present the evidence, and finally we all can see it. If he doesn't go, it's over. He's never going to have another opportunity like this. He will never have one. Every creator, as they get bigger, they're not going to take a chance losing their own audience. So the bigger they get, the more they have an onus to attempt not to get something wrong. Let's pretend a creator with 1 million subscribers takes Steve on his offer because Steve says he's not going to go to Hanson because he's lying. He doesn't have secret evidence. He has no evidence on Nate. He has no evidence on me. He doesn't even have evidence on Katie. He's never even presented it. And if he doesn't have evidence, then it is the definition of a targeted harassment campaign. Because he is telling people that we are predators. He's telling people that we are harassers. He called me a fucking predator. Me. The person who gets hell from everybody on the internet for being too nice to everyone. You know? But here's the point. Here's the point. If a creator had 1 million subs and they offered Steve to come on and present his evidence, he's going to say no to any creator because nowhere he goes will he have evidence. He's trying to find a creator that won't make him show evidence or call him out. He wants to find a creator that'll say, come up here with me and where's your evidence, and let him lie and say, okay, that's fine. That's what he's looking for. But he's not going to find a big creator that'll do that, because the smaller channels, and I mean smaller as in 100,000, 200,000, 50,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, they'll all jump on that and prove that that big 1 million subscriber channel fucked up bad, and that channel will take a big hit from it. it'll fuck up their business. There's stakes there. It's why he always chooses channels like EKC or this Nikki person who I just found out Nikki has very seriously told people that she has very bad mental problems. And so I won't be like bringing her up or criticizing her. I'm just going to ignore her. But he chooses these smaller channels because they have no stake. They actually, they are so desperate that him coming on and bringing 20 people over to sit there and, you know, rage out about Katie or whatever, or, you know, rage out about their lies and their bullshit and live in their fantasy world where evidence is something you can just promise people and you never have to show and it doesn't matter, but everybody else is a bad person because they lied and all this, even though you don't have a clip of it and can't prove it. You swear they did it, so they're bad and you're good. You're the best person ever. You see, every bad person ends up in Steve's position, forced to only be able to go to people that have massive issues or a massive lying problem, and they all end up in a cult. They end up in a social construct that will benefit them only if they run the narrative of the big bad guy that leads them. And eventually they'll have to use those types of tactics of fear, control, in order to keep order, because they are not using the truth to. But I guess we'll wait and see. The point is, he goes to Chris Hanson. Chris can't lie on him. Chris can't dictate it. He's bigger than all of us. This is Chris Hanson from Dateline, a man who did his career, retired, and does YouTube now, and just kind of fucks around and does investigations and helps out and makes some entertaining content here and there. And yeah, he pisses commentators off because they feel that he shouldn't be able to pull from YouTube and source YouTube stuff, and that he's stealing content from them and all this. I disagree with that, but whatever. You can think what you want. The cancel culture brigade are the only people I've seen have a major problem with him being able to present things. And again, Steve McRae himself had no problem with Hanson until Hanson asked to sit him down. And that's when he started. Check his Twitter, see it for yourself. If he has secret evidence, if he has the evidence that he's promised everybody that he can't show, and he's waiting to show until the right time, this is the right time. And if he doesn't go do it, he's fucking lying, and it's over. It's over at that point. Not only did he not sue Katie, not only did he still run the fundraiser, not only did he present receipts from an older thing that he did and then try to claim that it was from this thing with Katie so that he could pretend he spent money on this. Not only did all these things happen, but now we've found out that you finally have it in the palm of your hand. What I told everybody for the last 3 years, that he is putting these people up to harassing you all. And when any of you piss him off, I remember back when everybody got along with him in the anti-KJ community, back when the anti-KJ community was more unified, I had said, if you don't believe me, all you got to do is criticize him lightly and watch what happens. Several caters took me up on that, and they are caters no more. They're good YouTube channels now. They're doing it. You know, they're people that he's jealous of right now. Now, go to Hanson, Steve, because if you have evidence, put it in front of Hanson live. But Hanson's gonna lie on me. Okay, well, your evidence will expose him on his own show, Steve. If you have this evidence you keep saying you have, you can't fear Hanson. You should be happy that you're getting a platform that big where you can literally blast Hanson if he tries to lie on you with your massive secret evidence. You could just get up there and tell him what the evidence is, let Hanson lie about it, and then pull it out and show it and prove to everybody Hanson's lying or he's dishonest or whatever you're saying he is. By the way, how do you know that he's dishonest? He hasn't said shit. How do you know that Wes is dishonest? He hasn't said shit. They literally just asked you to take a seat. Guess what I'll do? Guess what I'm going to do? I'm just going to put it out there. If Steve McRae won't take a seat, I'll take the heat. Hanson can go get every fucked up thing on me out there. Everything. Going back to the beginning. And he can put it on his show, and I'll sit down at Chris Hanson's seat. The problem is, there's not going to be anything but what you've seen me do on my show, because it's been the same the whole time. But I will take everything about Steve McRae, all the fraud raisers I've been talking about, all of the harassment campaigns that we've tracked, which includes more than Steve, and I'll give him anything he wants. I'll do it live. I don't care. I'll let him ask me about any piece of content that I've ever put out on any platform whatsoever. If he asked me to take a seat, I'd sit in a second. Because what bad is that? I'd love to be able to show Chris Hanson all the shit I've done. I'd love to be able to show him all my investigations. I'd love to be able to show him all the debunks I've accomplished. I'd love to be able to show him all of the harassment campaigns I've documented. I'd love it. I'm not scared like Steve is. And I'm not joking either. Call my fucking bluff. Call my bluff. On to AZ. AZ told a puppy to go home to his master. Now this puppy I don't bring up because he's a liar and he's just a sock account. He's just a little harasser sock account that goes around acting like a fool, wanting attention, and now he's going to get a little bit of it. Originally, he told everybody he was a Native American. So AZ, if she did look at his profile, would have seen that over anything else. And so when she made that comment, go back, hey puppy, go back to your master. Because every puppy has a master. Every dog owner is called that dog's master. If you haven't watched like a Disney cartoon or, I don't know, like any children's fucking video, or maybe like read a book in your whole life, you wouldn't know that. But when you raise dogs, you're the dog's master. That's what we say on the East Coast of the United States, from the very tip to the very bottom, at least. Fact. So unless you can show that she had the knowledge of him being African American, when originally he told everybody he was Native American, by the way, and unless you can show that somehow AZ had that knowledge when she made the comment, you'd still have to be able to take her tweet and show that she meant it in that way. I've looked into it. She didn't say anything racist. But then again, this is the same thing that Steve and his minions did to Christopher Boozy. Now, if you're a member of my Discord, you know, months ago during the Johnny Depp trial, I started a room in my server called the Bot Sentinel. And I have been tracking Bot Sentinel since back in the Johnny Depp trial. I won't say why, because I don't want to derail this stream. I'll do another stream on all of that very soon. Though, real quick, Nate had gone on a stream, I believe it was with Emily Baker, and he was talking about crooked cops, said something, I forget what it is now, and then said, you know how it is, Emily, or something like that. So if you go to Rock-A-Lot and rewind 6 or 7 months or something, maybe a little more, maybe a year, you'll see me playing the clip of Nate the lawyer, exactly what he said, and debunking Steve's lie that Nate admitted to being a dirty cop. That's not what Nate said. Listen to what Nate said instead of just believing an internet liar. Now, I bring that up because it's exactly what he did to AZ is exactly what he did to Nate. This is a form of his targeted harassment. And yes, unfortunately, just like I did to Molly, I'm having to now send another report into YouTube about how 2 people tried to sexually harass me and fake DMs against me. And now that I have Steve's admission on it, I'm sending it into YouTube so that they know what Steve did, right? I really think what we should do as creators, all of us that have been lied about by him, all of us that have had him target us, all of them that have had him come at us, let's do it. Let's all get what they specifically did to us together. We'll try to get Waxy. We'll try to get AZ. We'll try to get Menace. We'll try to, I don't know, we'll get everybody. Nate, we'll try to get anyone out there who he's done this to. And we grab the proof of what he's done to us, because it does violate TOS. It does. And let's send it to YouTube. I know how to send in a report to YouTube using, if you're a partner, your YouTube studio. Okay? I think we should, because it's gone too far. It's gone too far. He is now, and today things changed for people out there that say, you should have never covered the non-sex story. I told you, Uni, it would never turn into a story. Uni, for some reason, thinks this whole non-sex thing is going to turn into some story. Chris Hanson thinks it's a story. He does. He thinks it's a story. Let's hope he does something with it. Though, it's gone to the point of where not only have they doxed people, not only have they done all these other things, but now if he stays on the platform, God knows what kind of screenshots he's going to fake next time and who he's going to fake it on. If I hadn't been on YouTube for all this time, he probably would have succeeded with his little fake screenshot game. Let that sink in. Instead of hiring Jesse to do this to me and scripting everything against me, what if he would have did it against a smaller creator, and that creator's wife would have left, and then the kids, and then the you got to split, you got to divorce, and you got all this depressing shit happening. Lives ruined, right? He tried to ruin my life. Oh, someone request? Janice. I don't know who Janice is either. Is that the same one that asked last time? Okay. Did you join the Discord yet, Janice? I thought you were supposed to. I gave the link to. I haven't talked to you yet. Jump in and talk to me, and I'll restart I'll restart this, and I'll have you on the space, okay? So anyway, one last thing here. We have to, I think, do this, because honestly, we know he doxes, we know he goes around. The thing is, he's so irrelevant, and he chased away. Back when he was with Nonsec, he led around 100 people on his campaigns. Very quickly, the Nonsec people realized what they were doing, and a lot of them left, and he might have had like 30 or 40 to do his campaigns. As time went on with Kyle, and he switched Kyle for Katie, he lost the majority of all of them because they all knew what he was doing. He only had the most inner cult left. And what he's doing now, and this is just true. Remember Nat? Does anybody remember Nat? What he's doing now is he finds people who have mental issues. They admit to him the mental issues, and then he hires them to do these things that they're not in the right headspace to be able to tell what's right and wrong, what they should and shouldn't do, what is going too far and what's not. And they end up getting manipulated by him into doing this stuff. And yes, Rape Pig is one of them. He also has mental issues. If he stays on the platform, is no doubt to any of us, we might not even find out about it. I just found out about a woman who he contacted asking for nudes. She said, I sell my nudes, because she does like an OnlyFans kind of thing, right? And by the way, she has proof. She's got the screenshots of all of this. It'll be coming out soon. And he tried, and this is pretty recent, he tried to talk this person into giving him free nudes, obviously, because he could do this, and this for her, so why should I have to pay for them? Which, mind you, how fucking greasy is that? How fucking lobster roll grease is that shit? He literally thinks that he's the God King. He shouldn't have to pay anyone for shit. He should be given free everything. He's the perpetual ultimate victim and the perpetual ultimate grifter. He'll even try to grift nude pictures of your fucking body. But she said no, turned it down, and kind of like went about her internet until she started to get harassed by his little squad of lobsters. No joke, no bullshit, with DMs of the conversations and DMs of what he did too on Twitter and the little squad going after her. So there has been so many more people and we even offered, when we first covered this story, we offered an anonymity to anybody that came to us that wanted to tell their story, but didn't want certain details to come out so that he would be able to identify them. Remember? And we had plenty of people come out. Even with that being there, even with all of this coming out in all these years, there are still more people that come out of the woodwork that can prove he's still doing this to everybody. He's still doing it. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't at least make this slightly entertaining by dunking on him one more time. And I want to make a point with the dunk, is why I'm bringing it up. It relates. So here we go. The other night he was streaming, and him and EKC had a guest on. And even though that guest is dishonest as hell, she wasn't being dishonest for a moment. She was being personal and talking about a serious subject that happened to her children, when all of a sudden sexual moaning came out of Steve's side, and that moaning continued for a couple minutes while he stared at the screen making an O face, enamored by whatever he was looking at, while, yes, I went back and checked his neck, because all you could see, it's crazy, these people are trying to argue with me still and say there's not enough evidence to say that he was jacking it. He zoomed his camera in to his neck and up. He's playing porn, hardcore porn, and watching it with the sound on while someone's talking about this subject I just mentioned. And his muscles and lip and stuff are gyrating because of the movement of his hand down there is causing this little bit of like gyration to occur high up, because he purposely is sitting in the dark and making sure that his camera isn't showing his shoulders or his chest with porn playing. And there are still people out there who are saying, well, he definitely could be rubbing it, but there's not enough evidence to say he is. Personally, I think if you're watching hardcore porn during a conversation like that, sneakily watching porn, yeah, that's enough evidence in itself to say that you are sexually pleasuring yourself. But you know what? Whatever. You can disagree with me all you want. I zoomed in. I looked. I saw it. I saw that I had Rachel. Rachel's like, yeah, look, right there and right there and right there. Yeah, you see, you just got to go to the actual live stream. There may not be that much of it happening in the clip on Twitter, but if you go to the fucking live stream and go through that whole little area where it happened, you'll see it. Anyway, normally I would go grab it, take it to YouTube, play it, show everybody. I will, but I'm going to do it later. I think there's a lot of really cringy stuff about to happen with him. Actually, I know for a fact there is. And he's going to embarrass himself a lot in the coming months, and I want to wait until the perfect time to go to YouTube, pull that up, and make fun of him. So there you go. Now, I bring that up for a reason, like I said. It's not just to laugh at how much of a turbo perv he is. And yes, a turbo perv is a normal perv who has been injected with turbo serum to make him really fast, really strong. You know, back in high school, when you'd get in middle school, you'd get a new pair of shoes and you'd go out to the basketball court and you'd be like, I can jump higher than you, Billy, because I've got new shoes. I'm about to dunk on you, bitch. That's a turbo, but only when it's about a perv. See, because that's a turbo kid, turbocharged by his new shoes. He's a perv, turbocharged by the pervy things that he does. He's definitely constantly perving. Everybody's always wondered. So this whole thing, and this isn't even my point yet. This whole thing made people wonder why. This whole thing has made people wonder, how many times has he done this in the past? Because everybody knows he's at least done it like 20 or 30 times to have it slip up and bust him now. That's just a fact. No, Uni, not only is he not touching himself regardless of the gyrating that's happening, but also it's his first time ever looking at porn while on a live stream like this. Bullshit. You want to be naive? Be naive. Everybody knows this is like his 30th or 40th time if you're being a conservative about it. You Democrats are thinking he's done it 5,000 times. I'm just kidding. Those of you that aren't being conservative, you're thinking he's done it 5,000 times. Now, anyway, turbo perv, okay? Had to have done this. In fact, Janie went in and has the screenshot of where in a stream 3 years ago, when he was shitting on Kyle, he showed his screen, like I told you the other day, and there was porn tabs up that he was watching while yelling at Kyle while other people were speaking, and he forgot to close them before he showed his screen. So this has actually happened to him multiple times. So now what are you going to say? Now what are you going to say? Defenders, are you going to say, no, the EKC thing is the second. It's provably the second time he's been watching porn on a live stream now. So now let's multiply it by 2. He's at least done it 100 times. 50 for each incident, 50-50. I mean, he's been doing this for years, y'all. 3 years ago, he was doing it, and he just got caught doing it now. He's been doing it this whole time, y'all. Now, here's the point. Let's say, count up the amount of streams he's done, and ask yourself, what percentage of those streams do you think he popped some porno up? It's probably on all the streams where he's had a guest talking and he got bored. And then think about this, y'all. Remember when I said he's the only live streamer out there who constantly says sexually inappropriate things all the time? There's all these clips of him doing it. How much you want to bet, at least on all of those clips where he says that he's acting really grossly sexual, I would guarantee he's watching porn on all those streams. But someone out there is going to take up the challenge. One of these dono bros out there is going to take up the challenge. They're going to go back into the streams where he's doing this, and they're going to look and see if there's a reflection in his glasses that they can zoom in on and maybe find some evidence. So we might have more details for you in the future. But the whole reason I bring this up is because, and I'm going to get off here after this. I bring this up because Chris Hanson and Wes most likely were motivated, right, due to the porn incident on EKC's channel. I mean, let's say that you're Wes and Chris, and this dude came into your internet space, lied to your face about all this stuff, and you have videos of him doxing people, saying really gross sexual things, and harassing a gay man for 3 years, and then harassing Katie for 2 years. And let's say that you're like questioning whether you should have him come have a seat. And all of a sudden, you see that clip where Rennell is almost in tears. Even EKC, a human being who feels zero emotion, even the robot NPC EKC, and only a robot would think that all people, you realize her channel name is EKC People Suck, right? She thinks that people suck. That's because she's a fucking robot. She's like a Mark Zuckerberg model that went wrong, okay? That's why she thinks people suck. She can't understand human emotion. Robots can't understand human emotion. Watch an episode of Star Trek. Anyway, let's say that you're Chris Hanson and you are watching, you're thinking about what to do with this guy who just lied to you constantly and is accused of all the things he's accused of with all the evidence that's out there. And then Rennell and the robot are sitting there having this conversation. The EKC robot just booted up program Emulate Sadness 105. Okay, it's just now starting to run through her CPU. And then porn comes out of Steve's microphone, and then he gets this weird ass look on his face. I mean, just look at him sitting there alone. It tells you he needs to take a seat. Anyone that makes that face in that way while porno's being played, while Rennell's talking about her kids, I think that's enough of a push for Chris Hanson to realize we struck gold here. Struck freaking gold. Now, you guys do know EKC hasn't said anything for a few days, and I don't want anyone to put her down. I don't want anyone to be mad at her for not saying anything for a few days, because everybody knows that when you run the robot SAD program 105, it takes a lot out of your CPU. You really do have to go take an oil bath, and you got to have all your screws tightened up and shit. And it takes a couple days for that program, for you to be repaired so that you can come out and defend your Simp Lord Lobster after, maybe if she would have ran Emulate Human Sadness 102, it would have only taken a couple hours. But she went for the 105 model, which is like, it takes a lot of CPU usage, okay? So leave EKC alone for a bit, and I'll see you later.